Good morning. Welcome to the Upper Deck. I'm coming to you live from Fort Wayne, Indiana, home of Kevin Kiermaier. Hey, is he Hal's #1 target? Listen up and find out. Hey, welcome to the Upper Deck for Pinstripe Chronicles. I'm Chris. That's Chris. He's the co-host of Talking Rivals, joining me this morning. Lynn is taking the week off. We'll see her next week again. Hey, welcome to the chat, Lori, Jonathan, FJ, and Afi.
Good morning.
Glad you could join us this morning, Chris. Thank you so much for filling in.
Thank you for asking. Any invite from you guys, I'm always in. I love talking to you guys. So.
Oh, thank you so much. Hey, what kind of week do you think just went down?
Woo! It was definitely interesting, right? With Cashman firing back at the reporters when they start questioning him. It's almost like someone else has been questioning other than the reporters. I think he's getting questioned inside Yankee land, inside the front office, whether it's Hal or someone else, because he looked very defensive and he's getting defensive about the moves that he's made. If I'm a reporter, I'm asking him about the moves that he didn't make, right?
Oh, yeah.
How many guys we could list a long list of players that they didn't go for, right? Bryce Harper, Manny Machado, Corey Seager, all these guys that have been, big time performers. And he kind of, we don't need those guys. We're good. Yeah, we don't need Bryce Harper. Yeah. I would ask him about those because I'm not defending him whatsoever about Gallo or Sonny Gray, because those were the two that he brought up. Like some guys just can't handle New York, and we get it. It is what it is.
Right.
And it's kind of hard. You could ask questions. Hey, you think he could handle New York? Yeah. Yeah, he'll be fine. He'll be fine here. Nobody knows for sure until they're here, obviously, right? I mean,
absolutely.
To me, it's a ridiculous excuse because you should win no matter where you go, right? There should be pressure to perform well. There should be, there should be tons of pressure on you because you still signed a contract somewhere. So
right.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was a hell of a week. Usually we don't get these kind of opportunities to kind of peek inside of Cashman's head, and it wasn't pretty.
No, no, it wasn't. It definitely wasn't, and it was actually fun to see. Him like squirming a little bit there in front of the reporters. So, and I'm happy that they pushed him a little bit.
I agree 1,000%. I love watching Cashman squirm. And before I go any further, I want to say good morning to our friend Elliot. Thank you for providing us with this week's trivia question. Let me get this trivia going. We can cogitate on it as we speak through the rest of the show. Here it is. It's kind of long, so let me get started. 2023 most notably celebrated the 25th anniversary of the 125-win 1998 New York Yankees. But there were other milestones as well. The 20th anniversary of the Aaron Effin Boone, the 45th anniversary of the 78 champs, and the 60th anniversary of the pennant-winning 1963 team. And it's this 63 team that we're talking about with today's trivia question. Okay, New York Yankee fans at first glance want to forget the 63 pennant winners who were swept by the Dodgers. But it was a notable series because it was the first time the rivals met since the Fall Classic, since the Dodgers' exodus from Brooklyn following the 1957 season. The games were very tight, especially pivotal Game 3, which the Dodgers won 1-0 on a first-inning run. The New York Yankees only scored 4 runs in the 4 games. Here's the question. Who were the 3 New York Yankee batters to record an RBI in the 63 series? Okay, so 1963, Yankees-Dodgers, and it's who were the 3 New York Yankee batters to record an RBI. So let that one go through your head. All right, and now moving forward, We've got to celebrate. We got a celebration this week. We got Anthony Volpe winning the Gold Glove. Chris?
I love it. He did play great there. I don't I don't get some of the fans saying he didn't deserve it, or he's not that good at short, or he's got a weak arm, all this stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
listen, to me, just being nominated for a Gold Glove is pretty good right there alone. And then to get voted, and we know the voting is kind of, whatever it is, it's controversial, or some of
Yes.
the people, some of the coaches, excuse me, don't take it serious enough or whatever. But just to be nominated, I think it's great. It just shows you. And I think what was more impressive by Volpe this year with his defense is he struggled so much offensively throughout the year. And for a rookie, that's understandable and everything. But for it not to bleed into his defense, and for his defense still to be great as it was all year, I think that was more impressive than anything that I've seen him this year, because he just stayed, he focused on his defense and he played great. His offense, yeah, it's going to come along. We know it. I don't think we have anything to worry about with Volpe, but him winning the Gold Glove in his first season, really impressive, even with the offensive struggling that he had.
Right. And I think that's such an excellent point you're making there, because it would have been so easy for him to get derailed by the frustrations of his offense this year, but he didn't. He buckled down in the outfield, in the infield on defense, and he really performed. And I mean, that is an amazing thing. He's the first Yankee rookie to win a Gold Glove.
Right.
He's the youngest shortstop to ever win a Gold Glove. Second among AL shortstops with 15 defensive runs saved. He was tied for sixth in OAA. It's interesting, though. He did have 17 errors. So
yeah, no. Hey, shortstops always have a little bit more errors than any other position. So those numbers, and we see it as we're watching the game. Like, sometimes they call the errors right away, sometimes they don't. So I don't really look at that too much.
No, and I'm with you. I'm not worried about his offense. I think there's no question that's going to come along. He's going to mature as a player and as an offensive player. I think that I would have expected to happen more slowly, actually, in a way. I mean, it would have been great if he came in and he was right away, a powerhouse. But okay, we are blessed, I think, with the talents we got.
And you know what? I'll say this. This comment right here on the screen. I was one of the fans that wanted him sent down in like May.
Okay.
Like after he had that rough May, I said, you know what? Send him down for a month and then let him come back, and I think he would be fine.
Yeah.
So I'm one of those, and I still thought that would have been the better move, because he was being a nothing on offense, but he was still great on defense, obviously. But for me, it's I think if they did send him down, maybe he still hits the same way. But I thought maybe if they sent him down for a month, let him work on his swing and his approach, and I think coming back up, I think he would have been better. But hey, whatever, it worked out. I don't think it would have mattered, with the season, how it went with the rest of the team. So
yeah,
I'm fine.
Well, let's just put it this way. I mean, if you send Volpe down, who do you put at shortstop then? Peraza, or who would you have put Peraza at short? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Because Peraza, is already, fine on defense. So
yeah,
I think he would have came up, and that would have been the shortstop for a while. But whatever,
Right. Well, I think it's interesting that Elliot says he doesn't really get jazzed about Gold Glove winners. Elliot, is it maybe partly because you don't get jazzed about individual awards? Maybe more if the team had been performing more at a higher level, maybe we would be happier about these Gold Gloves. I'm not sure. I'm thrilled for Volpe, and I do get jazzed about these defensive awards, because I really think that that's you've got to celebrate the whole player if you can, if at all possible. Let's see, Peraza is a better shortstop, NFE is saying, but I predict he will be
I totally agree. I think Peraza should be at short and Volpe at second. That's what I think would be the better. But listen, if it works out, Peraza at second, that's still going to work out good, because Volpe is still a really good shortstop. So it's not like he's a bad shortstop. I just think Peraza, we could see he might have a stronger arm, but
Right.
Volpe might have the quicker release. So I think it kind of
Yep.
evens
Yep.
out a little bit. Maybe Peraza will be our third baseman next year.
Maybe. Yeah.
You
I
don't
mean,
know.
we don't know. We certainly need to fill that. And yeah, that, and let's just get digging in. The positions that need to be filled. Hal did say he's prioritizing adding 2 outfielders,
Yep.
obviously, starting pitching. I'm sorry, Cashman. That was from Cashman's presser. Although I want us to dig into both of them in a minute. But as far as prioritizing outfielders, who do you see? Who would you prioritize for the
Listen,
outfield?
I'm going with the obvious one, right? I'm going to go with Bellinger, and this is how
Okay,
I look at it. If you sign him to say 7-8 year deal, let's just use 8 years for an example, right? It might be more, but let's
right,
just use 7 or 8 years as an, for me, the first few years he could play the outfield, he could play center, he could play left, whichever one you're going to use with Dominguez coming back eventually, probably after the All-Star break.
yeah,
Okay, but in a couple of years, we're going to need a first baseman, right? With Rizzo.
right,
Rizzo is here for this year and possibly another one. And he can move to first base eventually when Rizzo goes, or whenever we need a first baseman, because there might be someone else after Rizzo. So
right,
I'm not going to say that. But the great thing about Bellinger is he could play the outfield and he could play first base. So even if he slows down and he can't handle the outfield anymore as much, you could put him at first and he'll be fine at first. So that's how I
yeah,
look at it with him.
yeah. I think that's it. That's interesting. Now, me, I want Soto. Go get Soto. But
I agree.
as Spencer says here, so far Bellinger is on the table. Soto is not.
At least that's what we're hearing,
That's
right?
what we're hearing.
Right. Things can change like that. We know that, right?
Right,
So I'm not gonna. I don't. I agree with you. I think Soto should be number one. I just didn't think of Soto as an option right now. But if
right.
Soto is an option, absolutely number one option.
Yeah. And if the Padres, I mean, there's such a clown show right now. Who's
Yeah.
available? Who's not available?
Right.
I think it's really going to be a question of whether they're going to do a rebuild or a tear down, or whether they're not, as the
Right.
case may be. We'll see what happens. But I think there's some other interesting names out there. If no Soto, if no Bellinger, Max Goodman had an article in NJ.com this week, and he actually pointed out a whole list of various lefty batters who are available across the leagues. And some of them are in the Cardinals. Are any of these names interesting to anyone? Brendan Donovan, he's a lefty, young lefty outfielder. Alec Burleson, Dylan Carlson. Those are
Yeah.
some
All
of the
those
names
are.
he was throwing out from the Cardinals.
I think all those are secondary options
Right,
after Bellinger and Soto. Yeah, I think so. I would. Those are all trades, I believe. So
right,
we probably have to give up some pitching because the Cardinals are desperate for pitching. So
right.
you got to expect a guy like Clark Schmidt to be involved, and maybe one of our younger pitchers,
Yeah,
Brito, Vasquez, one of those guys. So
right.
that's the only thing, you know.
There's young guys, young players for the Reds and the D-backs that names are being thrown around. Also, Max Kepler from the Twins. That's another name that's kind of out there. That would be a trade as well, right? He's not a free agent.
I don't think he is. No.
I don't think he is.
Uh,
And also Christian Yelich. That's another name that I've seen. Any
that
ideas?
I don't like that. I don't like his contract, to be honest. His contract is really bad, and he's up there in
Okay,
age.
right,
I'm not saying he's as bad as Stanton's contract because at least Yelich could play and he could hit and all that. But
right.
I don't know. Unless they're paying like half his salary or they're taking on a bad contract of ours, like
Yeah,
Stanton's, and that's not going to happen. So I don't know. I think I would stay away from Yelich.
I would stay away from Yelich for sure because
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, if you could give me the Yelich of MVP years, but not the
Right.
Yelich I mean, he's been a roller coaster, and
Yeah.
offensively, he's been pretty bad some years
Yeah.
since that time. So, yeah, a great player, but I think pass definitely on that, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
Totally agree.
Okay, I know probably every show on every podcast has gone around the table talking about Hal and Cashman's pressers this week. So, I mean, we got to tackle some of this stuff. Cashman, I think let's start off with Cashman because I think he's the most obvious. What was you indicated at the beginning of the show a little bit your reaction. Cashman, I think, was embarrassing. That was cringeworthy.
Yeah. Oh, I totally agree. For him to be firing back and trying to defend some of his moves or non-moves,
Right.
that was a joke because they're just horrible. The last few years, he's missed on a lot of guys, whether he traded for or didn't even try to acquire.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a hard guy to, his moves are hard to defend. And Hal, I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting a lot from his comments to his presser, whatever. Yeah, sure. We'd love to hear, listen, this has to change. We have to get back. I'd love to get stuff that his dad would say after a year that we had. But I wasn't expecting much. So I wasn't disappointed in that sense because I wasn't expecting much from his comments.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would have loved to have heard more or a little more honesty. But it is what it is with these guys. We get the same crap every year.
Yeah, I would have loved to have heard a plan of some sort, even just preliminary or a brainstorming, some indication from Hal or Cashman what to expect going forward from the organization. I mean, Hal called going 82-80 unacceptable, and yet Cashman said, "I think we were actually pretty fucking good." And unlucky. I mean, he said we were pretty fucking good. People couldn't, their brains exploded. He said bullshit 10 times in his live presser. It was just a really
the pressure is on that guy. I think somebody from inside. Hal must have got to him, or this audit. Somebody must have questioned his moves inside. Because listen, the reporters are always going to say, "Oh, how come this didn't work? Or how come that didn't work?" And he'd say, "Hey, whatever." But never did we see him act like this. So there's definitely more heat on him inside. And is he on his last year of his deal, or he's got one more? I forgot.
I think that this is. I wish I was going to say I think this is this last year, but I'm not positive. One of the things that he said that I found interesting is that he spoke to Judge about Judge's postseason comments. Judge said that maybe the Yankees were valuing the wrong numbers. And Judge was asked about that. And he said he would focus more on batting average and RBIs, which I think is great because that's such a point of contention among fans, whether RBIs and batting average matter anymore. But Cashman didn't appear to want to dig into this, and he basically said in response to Judge that everyone has a gripe at the end of a losing season.
Yeah, no, I agree. Listen, home runs, RBIs, batting average. How about on base percentage? All that stuff should definitely be valued, right? I mean, look at what I hate to go back in time, but back in the 90s, our great run in the late 90s, guys were getting on base. That was the big thing. Like, their at bats, they used to grind out every at bat used to be 3-2 always, That's what they need to get back to. Grind out the at bats. Don't be going up there swinging on the first or second pitch because, the analytics say, this guy's pitches on his first two are hittable more than they are later, whatever. Just go up there and grind out your at bat,
Well, wait a minute. You forgot about the bunt.
Right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. The bunt. Yeah. We need to emphasize bunting more. Really, Boone?
This team went, what did I just say? 82-80. And Hal wants to bunt more. Like he just discovered that strategy.
So basically, I don't get it. I don't don't even bring that up. Like, don't even say that. That's something you keep on the, on the down low, like on the inside of the organization.
Just comments like that made Hal look ridiculous. Like he doesn't. The question was, do you even know baseball? Do you even know this team?
I guess they want to go back to small ball. They could have said that. We need to get back. Small ball in certain when the opportunity is there. to play small ball? Yes, of course. Get the guy over to third when you need a run and sack
Right.
fly, whatever.
Yeah. Oh,
But
yeah. Fans would love that. If only.
bunting, we need to bunt more. Okay,
We
remember
need
that.
to bunt more.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many of you follow the Yankee Slut on Twitter, on X. I'm sorry,
It's a
X.
very good account to
It's an
follow.
excellent account,
Yes.
and she summed it up
Could be a
perfectly.
he. I don't know either.
Oh,
So
I'm sorry. That's true. It could be a he. I should say they summed it up.
there you go.
They said the Yankees have declared war against their own fan base in the arena of public relations. And that is exactly what it felt like
Yep.
when when Cashman was speaking at his press conference. He was very confrontational, defensive. Um, she said this, and I thought it was poignant. He appears so caught up, Cashman, that is. He appears so caught up in the pressure being placed on him that he is unable to rise to the leadership needs of the moment, even in terms of simple PR. And I
Yeah.
think
No.
that's true. I mean,
Yeah.
Cashman, he was so pressurized that his press conference, it gave us no leadership whatsoever of this team.
Right. You know what? And I get that you want to defend your moves or you want to defend why Cashman is still here and all that. I get it. But you also got to be honest about the results of what is happening. You
Right.
can't just say, well, the playoffs are a crapshoot. Yeah, we get that. But you can't hear that every year for the past 14 years. Or, well, we got injuries. Every team deals with injuries. Every team. Look at the Dodgers for a quick example. The Dodgers, their entire rotation basically was hurt all year, right?
Right.
And then Urias, he got suspended later in the season. So they were playing with, like 3 rookies in their rotation, and they still won their division and got to the playoffs. They faltered in the playoffs, but at least
Right.
they got there, So I don't want to hear injuries. Every team deals with some kind of injuries, some a little bit more. But here's the other thing. If the guys keep on getting injured, how about getting somebody else? Don't keep on bringing in guys that are injury
Right.
prone.
Yeah, exactly. How about build a team with more athletic, younger players, perhaps players with more success in to their resume, instead of these reclamation projects
Right.
or these has-beens like Donaldson trying to catch lightning in a bottle, as
Oh,
as maybe they did with Carpenter. There's always that outlier, but still.
right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. The Donaldson move was probably one of his worst moves, if not the worst move that he's ever had
Yeah.
as a GM. I mean, that was just awful. It didn't work whatsoever. IKF is a nice player, but
Yeah.
keeping him at short was a huge mistake. There's no
Oh
way he should
God.
have been an everyday shortstop. He's a good utility guy to have, a guy you could put, in all different positions. Yeah,
Right.
but not a starting shortstop. No.
No. And the Yankee slot concludes that the Yankees lack dimensionality in their values. And I think that's true. She said the Yankees believe in their process. And both Hal and Cashman were 100% behind their process, whatever that may be at this point. And they believe that 2023 was a unique incident, that injuries, as you say, derailed the season, but that all had gone well in previous seasons. All is expected to go well in the future. Therefore, we're not that concerned about the present. That's the message that I got from them.
Right. No, me too. I'm right with you on that.
Yeah.
To me, like I said, injuries, you can't keep on using that excuse because every team deals with injuries. Every
Yep.
team. The lucky ones, yeah, get a whole season without injuries, and that's not many. But a team with that kind of payroll, like the Yankees have or the Dodgers have, can't use injuries as an excuse. I'm sorry, you
Yep.
just can't, because with the resources you have, you can't be putting out McKinney and Bowers and who else did we have in the outfield this year? I mean, just
Greg Allen,
right. Greg Allen. Who was the other guy that got
Frenchie
hurt?
Cordero.
Frenchie. Oh God. So many bad players. Like, and we're talking about almost $300 million payroll, and that's what you're rolling out there. And
I know.
it made no sense. I'm sorry. And listen, and going back to injuries and stuff like this, they got to figure out Stanton. They got to figure him out. They got to figure
Yes.
out getting some kind of offense back from him, and you got to get him to run again, or else he's going to be a wasted player on the bench because he can't play the field and now he
No.
can't hit. So what
No.
good is he?
I mean, Stanton has long been a mystery to me, as
And I
everybody.
love Stanton.
Yeah, I don't love Stanton, but I don't hate him. I
Right.
just don't get him. I never understood why we should have obtained Stanton in the first place. Although, I mean, I get it. If you can get a surplus player of that magnitude, you do it and you figure it out. But in this instance, we never figured it out, and mostly due to his inability to continue performing at that level. I
Right.
mean, what is with this man? I do not understand what is wrong with his legs.
Right. He's not that old, not
He's
yet, at
not
least
old.
to not be able to run. I mean, that's simple. Listen, offensively, okay, he's late on everything, right? He can't catch up to a fastball. So you
Right.
know what? That's something he's got to work with the next hitting coach, whoever it is, or get your own hitting coach and figure something out. I think he's got to change his batting stance. With that batting stance, you're not going to catch up to many fastballs. So he's got to figure something out.
Yeah.
Right. I
As
agree.
that Stanton's a freaking disaster, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Sort of last on my list of things that I thought maybe we'd throw out there today is talking about the Yankee bench coach position. I was just reading this morning and I found this like laughable that the Yankees would reach out to David Ross. I mean, he was just a manager. What makes you think he wants to come sit on the Yankee bench?
The only thing that I would think he would come here is that he's very close with Boone.
And Rizzo. I
Right,
think
and
he's
Rizzo.
close with Rizzo.
Right, and for those reasons, and maybe like in the back of his mind, not that he wants to take Boone's job, but he
Right.
could think on the back, all right, he's only got 1 year left, and if he starts to struggle, I'll be the guy. So maybe
Maybe.
that's what he's I don't know. That's the only way
Well,
I see it, but it
yeah,
would be
the
great
way
if
I
we could get him.
understand it, he is not interested in anything but a managerial job at the moment. Who
Right.
knows, though? I mean, some other candidates that I saw out there: Brad Osmus,
That's not bad.
from the
Yeah.
former Tigers
He's got
manager.
manager experience, and
Right.
he's been a catcher, so you always want I think the catcher position, a former catcher is always a good option as manager or bench coach. So I
Right.
have no problem with that.
Yeah, I would have no problem with Osmus. Andrew Bailey is another name being thrown around. He's the Giants pitching coach. Apparently, he's being considered for both the Red Sox and the Orioles pitching coach positions.
Okay.
So I guess the fact that he's a wanted man maybe makes him. And I think he's the one. I think he's got some Yankee connections.
Did he play
Um,
here? Did he
I
have
think he did.
for a short time? I remember his name. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then obviously they could move Rojas to the bench coach position and hire a new third base coach. In which case, I wouldn't care who that is. I guess so much at this point.
Yeah, I
But
would just want someone I think with managerial experience. Even I don't think he would come here, but Buck Showalter would be an option too. Just
right,
somebody who has had that experience as a manager, somewhat as a player too, obviously. But
right,
and nobody, I shouldn't say Showalter because I'm going to go against what I just said with him. Maybe somebody a little bit younger, not a young kid, obviously, but somebody
right,
younger that maybe just finished playing a few years ago that could kind of connect with the players,
right.
somebody like that.
It'll be interesting to see how it plays out because I think there were while fans want a clean sweep of the personnel, we're not getting that. Of course, we're just getting we're getting piecemeal, and so we got the new hitting coach. Now we're going to get a new bench coach. We possibly may get a new third base coach. It's really all kind of behind the scenes tinkering that I don't think is going to affect much. And I'm not that excited about it, but
Right.
I wanted to
No,
throw it out there.
it would
Um,
be good though to get somebody with experience just to help Boone out because we know Boone's decisions sometimes are not the best. So,
Right.
but then again, is he just reading a script and going by what he's being told? So
Yeah.
that's the other argument we could have. But I would want somebody with experience to be the bench coach.
Yeah. I mean, I would want, I want Don Zimmer to Joe Torre's
Yes.
coach. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Perfect. Right. That's perfect combination.
Bring me that perfect combination. Okay. I want to finalize today with the answer to the trivia question. As you recall, the question centered on the 1963 series in which the Yankees played the Dodgers. The question was, who were the 3 New York Yankee batters to record an RBI in the 63 series? And I don't know if, let's see, did we get any? I'm not sure if anyone got the right answer. I'm looking up here real quick. And let me just read them off. Tom Tresh, he got 2 in game 1. Joe Pepitone, love to see Joe Pepitone's name come up whenever I hear it. And Mickey Mantle. So those were the 3: Tresh, Pepitone, and Mantle. And I want to, as always, thank Spencer for bringing us these great trivia questions. Yeah. Chris, thank you so much for joining me today.
Hey, no problem. Anytime you guys need a hand, I'm always available. So for you guys, I'm always available.
Oh, we had a great chat. Jonathan down here is talking about Harper. When Harper, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, Harper broke my heart. I've never gotten over the Yankees not obtaining
whenever I see him, because I love him as a player. He did have his injuries since he signed that contract. I get that, but you got to love him as a player. He would have definitely made us better, without a doubt.
I absolutely love Harper. Yeah, that always is going to go down as the great miss of Cashman's career.
And Stanton should have never been an excuse not to sign Harper, because that was their thing, like, oh, we're going to get Stanton, he'll be cheaper. And I'm not saying they shouldn't have got Stanton either, because they got him for basically nothing. So I'm okay with that. But, like to not sign Harper because of him, and then they said, oh, he can't play first base. I mean, think about that comment. Think about it. Harper came up number 1 as a catcher, right? And the guy went to the outfield. You don't think he could switch to first base? The guy is an incredible athlete. He'll figure it out. And he did. The guy figured it out on, like, what did he practice? A couple of weeks before he took over first base for the Phillies? And he's been great at first base. So I don't know. That was just dumb. Dumb comment for them.
Goes down as one of the dumbest non-moves in Yankee history.
Yep.
All right. On that note, I thank you all for joining me this Sunday from my vacation land in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Thank you, Chris. I really appreciate you coming on at short notice. And thank you, chat. Don't forget to like, subscribe, check us out on Twitter, and we'll see you next Sunday here at on the upper deck.
Take care.